everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been some time since I've posted a long form video. Last one was with my friend Stone from Montana, and so I wanted to get back into posting some longer videos again. This is my 1972 108 4.5 and this is my daily. I drive this practically every day and interspersed with my 6-cylinder on nicer weather. I'm in here, I want to do a valve adjustment. It's been around probably 15,000 miles since I did the valve. This should be done every 12,000 miles. So what I'm going to do today is show you, I'm going to take the cam covers off, give you an overview of the process of adjusting the intake and exhaust valves, and a few other things while we're in there to check while we're in there, if you've bought one or if you just want to maintain yours and keep it on the road. And as you know, if you're familiar with these 4.5s, the kind of the Achilles heel of this engine is the timing chain, and if excessive wear, failed chain tension, or all that kind of stuff could lead to a jump chain and bent valves and all that. Obviously something you want to avoid. So let's get started, and we'll get those cam covers off and get underway with this. All right, let's get you in closer. Right, first things first, obviously got to take the air cleaner off. I've already had it off because I was messing around earlier. So obviously we've just got one 10mm nut here. Disconnect this wire into the inlet there, and we're going to take the battery off as well, just to make some access a lot better. So let me do that, and then we'll take off the cam covers, remove plug leads, get them out of the way, and then we'll get in there. Let's go straight up, pull that off. And we'll get these fenders covered. So what I've done, I've marked the plug leads 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, any which way you want to do it, just so you know they go back in the same order. Also, I like using these type of pliers to pull the leads out so you're not straining the leads at all. Get this out of the way. And before I forget, block this guy off. You don't want anything while you're working falling down there, do you? So free the tube off the cover here. Pull that guy out of the way. Way. A vacuum line off the booster here. It's a 19mm here, and I'm just going to disconnect this completely, because this stuff, I may see what the availability again, a fresh one, because it's gone yellow and it's looking a bit old, so I'll see about the availability again, a new one of those, and check valve as well. So let me get on the other side, undo that, get it out of the way. Yeah, there's that lower nut that you have to hold, 17-19 combination. That guy off of there. There we go. You could probably work your way around this, but I just don't want to snap this tube in case, or this hose in case it's difficult to find a replacement. This line off of the steering pump here, because this should be pulled out of the way, that's going to be in our way. And then that's about it really, so that's not too bad. So let me get this guy out of the way. Alright, you can get a crow's foot 17 on this lower nut here. Get that guy undone. There we go. It's a little tight down here. Actually, I don't know whether you can see it, but there's a bracket that's stopping a full rotation, but oil pan underneath because we're going to lose some fluid here. Hold on a second. Little fluid coming out. Okay. Let's move that over. Away. So we've got 4 10mm bolts here that are, well, they're a little on the loose side actually. They don't ever get torqued up really tight, but those seemed a little on the loose side. I didn't have any leaks, so as I say, it's been about 15,000 miles or so since I've checked these valves. A little overdue, but this is one of those things that doesn't get done very often, or people just ignore it. I actually quite like doing this kind of stuff. And before I take this off, I'm going to give this area a quick blow off with the airline, so we don't get any crap in the engine. Oh, that one's not completely out. What it was. There we go. Right, let's get you in close. We'll have a little inspection of the cam. Cam lobes here, obviously the ones that I can see are in pretty nice shape. This is, bearing in mind this engine's got, well, around 150,000 on it, something like that. Regular oil changes. Now, just for those of you not familiar, this is obviously the oiling tube here. And what I'm probably going to do while I'm in here, why not? These plastic clips are something you should change if you don't know the history of the car, because these are obviously plastic and they're going through all these heat cycles and hot cold, and they get brittle after a period of time. And if these fail, then you know this tube, or obviously number one, plastic going in down here and causing a bit of havoc. But if this tube gets dislodged, goes down here, could be a problem, major problem. And obviously then it is not oiling your cam, and in short order you'll wreck the cam, and you wouldn't be a happy camper. So these plastic little clips here are very inexpensive, you know, literally dollars. And I'll take this tube off and give this tube a thorough cleaning and blast out with airline and everything, make sure all the oiling holes are completely clear. But let's get the other side off, and then what I'm going to do before I do anything, I'm going to check my cam timing marks along with the harmonic balancer, and that'll give us an indication of chain wear and all that stuff. So hope the lighting's a bit better. I put some more powerful spots so you can see. So obviously this is the driver's side. Again, the cam lobes look in really nice shape. I'm pretty diligent about oil changes and stuff like that, so and high zinc content oil as well, so yeah, they look in really nice shape. And if you can see now, follow the chain down to the casework there. See that there? I'll try and zoom in. Now that, to me, see that slight, oops, that slight etching there into the head? That, I think, is a previous chain slap, because I have not replaced a chain on this car, but I do believe this is a replacement chain because it has a master link, and it appears to be in very good shape. I've checked this periodically during this kind of maintenance, but you can see there where it was obviously slapping a little bit and digging in. And I don't see any contact points on this side. That seems to be extremely nice. No lifting it up off of the gears, put it that way. And as far as checking the gear condition, you can see the teeth here, they all look fairly consistent. There may be a tiny bit of wear on them, but I think they're good. And also what you will notice, the chain guides are the metal back chain guides, which is really nice. So they obviously, as you know, they went to the plastic one, so these have got metal on the back, and they've got a material here that seems to be in good shape. But the chain, you know, for all intents and purposes, seems to be in really nice shape. This is something that if this is showing excessive wear, it's obviously something you'd want to replace pretty sharpish, you know, if you don't want to wreck the motor. So I'm very happy about the condition of the chain. Got no lift on the top there. You can't lift that. Let's rotate the engine and check our timing marks. I have to find my socket to be able to do that. I may have to remove the fan, I can't really remember now, but anyway, let's see how we get on with that. See those 4 bolts down there holding the fan? They can be a bit of a devil. 13mm, fairly short bolts. They have to obviously be short to be able to get them on there. These come out, they're a little tight to get to. You want a 13mm ratcheting wrench, and I like to get one open, and then I can slip a flat blade or something here between this bolt and the shaft to stop the thing from spinning. And I put some anti-seize on these bolts, so they come out relatively easy. So do yourself a favour, do that for yourself for future removal. So let's get this out, and then we can get a bar down here for the nut for the harmonic balancer, and then turn this engine over and see what we got. Right, in case you wanted to know what socket to use, this is a 27, I think, isn't it? Yeah, the 27mm socket, and then a short extension, 1/2-inch drive, and then that gives you enough room between the radiators about here, you see, to get a... I just use this old torque wrench in here to get that in, because it's fairly low profile, and then you should be able to turn the engine over to get to the right position. So there it is, sticking out the front there, just giving me enough room just in front of the little extension bar there, and the radiator off to the right there. You can see it's fairly close fit, but you can do it. So let's rotate the engine to TDC on 1, and we'll see where our marks are on the cam, distributor body, and harmonic balancer. Now before we start turning it over, I should have done this before because I've already had the plugs out. I'm going to pull the plugs out, makes turning the engine over so much easier. It's worth it, and I've put anti-seize on all the plugs anyway, so they'll come out in a jiffy. So let me do that. Alright, that didn't take long, so this will be a lot easier to turn over now. That's aligned on this cam, top dead center on 1. I'll get you in a sec. I'll just check this other side. That's a smidge off there on that one. A little bit of wear. Right, now we're at the back of the passenger side cam here. We're lining the marks up on the 2 towers, these marks on this side and on the driver's side. And then the distributor rotor, you know, the arm there is pointing to, let me get you close, focus here. Hopefully you can see that. There's a little notch in the body, and this should be pointing towards that. And as I say, the mark on the back of this, and then what we do, it's very difficult to film, but the harmonic balancer is way down here, and you're going to read the marks off of the harmonic balancer with all these marks set. Now I am at around just around 5 degrees out, and so I'm not going to do it today, but that's the next job to do. I'd like to get a new timing chain on here with new cam gears, and I'll check my tensioner as well, the availability of a proper Mercedes tensioner. And I've heard some fairly negative thoughts on the aftermarket Phoebe ones and that, so I think I can find a new old stock tensioner. And so let's get on with doing the valve adjustments, and then we'll leave the rest for another time. Right, a couple of things to note here. This is number 1 cylinder. We got it at top dead center. on the compression stroke where both of these lobes are pointed up, so we know the valves are closed in the closed position. We do have to remove these retaining clips to be able to insert our adjustment tool underneath these adjusters here. It's a little tight here, and this is the tool from Hazet, the essentially a bent crow's foot 17mm. It's not as tight a fit as I would like, but it does work. And if you don't have one of these, you can use a good quality 17mm crow's foot, but just be very mindful, I'll show you when we get in there, is to make sure this is seated very nice and tight in the nut. You don't want to round these guys off, because they can be very, very tight. And if we do find a tight one, I'll show you what I'll do to overcome that. So let's get the camera set up and we'll get in there. So this is a spare rocker I've got lying around, so I thought it'd be good for visualization. Obviously this is the surface, the riding surface, that we're measuring the distance from here to the cam lobe. And so you can see, you know, it's obviously getting operated like this, and our adjustment is essentially a ball, a ball at the end of an adjuster that goes into this area in here, you see. So you've probably seen Pierre's video where he makes the adjustment on these, and he gives this a little wrapper. Just to, what he's doing is he's expelling the oil that's cavitated in this area here. Make sure I'm staying in focus here. So he's giving this a little light wrap to sort of splidge the oil out, so you get good contact, so you get a true reading here. Because if there was a film of oil here, then that's going to read a little tight, isn't it? So it's going to be lifting up slightly. So give this a little couple of wraps with a, wooden mallet or something like that. So anyway, gives you an idea. So I'm going to remove these clips. First, take all the retaining clips out that ride in this little wedge here. This is actually from an M130. This is slightly different design than the M117, which we're working on today. They're a little stubbier, but same principle. Basically, I'm going to see if I can just lever these retaining clips off of the rocker arms. There we go. That's it. Pull it out from the bottom. So essentially, there's the retaining clip. Goes into a little slot on the bolt and these shoulders, and then this just goes into that little ridge there. So that holds on like that. Like I say, this is off of an M130, but you get the idea. So let's just get all those out. There you go, I brought in a bit more light. So we've removed all these clips on just this side for the moment. I've got them set on a piece of paper so I know where they've come from. And as I was saying earlier, what we do, we'll just bottom out these rocker arms, give them a little wrap, you see, a little wooden hammer, just to make sure they don't have any oil in that little cavity. And so we've got the exhaust valve here and the intake, and on the M117 the exhaust is at 0.20 millimeters, and that to me feels, yeah, that's a little loose, and 0.10 mil on the intakes. You've got to make sure you go in straight. You don't want to be tricked by, for instance, leaning it up or leaning it down. So it's got to go straight in. Yeah, that's a little loose. So I'm going to tighten those up. So essentially, if you can imagine the adjuster, say this is the ball of the adjuster, we've obviously got to turn it this way to essentially bring it up to tighten these, and it's tiny amount because the you've only got to go a real smidge to make quite a drastic change. So don't go turning it a quarter of a turn or something like that, because that'll be way too much. So let me get my wrench on this guy and I'll show you. Just comes in underneath there. There's the adjusting nut there. Make sure this is truly snugged up. You wouldn't want it out like that, because you have a risk of, because this takes quite a force, you have a risk of rounding off the nut, you see. So just make sure that's nice and snug as you're turning it. Also, one other thing, this is a 1/2 inch drive on the hazet as well, because they know that you've got to kind of crank on it a bit. So let me get my wrench here. So I've got an old torque wrench that I don't really use as a torque wrench anymore. What I'm going to do is keep that nice and snug, and we'll just give this a little movement here. You can see it's pretty bloody tight. Oh dear. There you go. I'm just going to move it just a smidge. Give it a little wrap. Make sure it's seated nice. And this is the intake. There we go. Still a little on the loose side, so try that. So that's too tight now. It's amazing, you see how little you need. Go the other way now. As you're doing this job, you'll get better and better, more familiar with how much of a turn. So it takes a little while to kind of hone in on this job. So I'm going to carry on and adjust these all the way round, and I don't need to show obviously all that. So basically what we're going to do, I'm going to get this to the point which actually that feels really nice now. It's got that I'm pretty happy with. Got a nice drag on that. So as I say, once you tune in to doing this, you'll work your way around pretty quick. Now we're number 1 here, so we're going to rotate round to the point where I'm not sure which one. We've probably got one over there we could do. Basically, as long as we're measuring against the low of the cam, off of the lobe, so the lobes are going to be pointed up. I'm going to work my way round, and yeah, that's about it. So let's get this done and we'll have a little chat at the end. If for some reason when you do come to adjust these and you come across one that is really, really tight, which you may well do, and you're worried about rounding it off and it's just not having it, the tool's not doing it. So in that case, what you can do is you can buy one of these spring compressors, and I bought this one online a year or two ago. I think about $100 or something like this. And what this enables you to do is compress the spring and then lock it onto the cam. You see, I'll just do it, clear the decks. I feel that this bolt here could be a little longer, so it brings the arm up, because it tends to get obstructed here. But I think this will work for the moment, but you might want to put a longer bolt in. So what we're going to do, we're going to compress the spring. Make sure obviously the cam's in the correct position, pointed up. This one I'm just showing you for an example. Press the spring down. What that does, it gives you enough room to be able to remove the rocker. You gotta get that out of there. Gently lift up, and you've got to watch, because there's a little shoe sitting on the top of the spring. You don't want that to flip out and get in here, especially down this end and lost down there. You can see how much smaller the rocker is on the, let me get the other one, on the M117 compared to the 6-cylinder M130. I would imagine this is a little stronger, I would imagine, because it's shorter, less stress on it. But anyway, so this guy is in pretty good shape. So anyway, we can remove the rocker, you see, and then that enables you to do this. So let's get this out of the way. So what that enables you to do is to get a full socket on that adjuster there, right down there, and then break it loose, essentially. So, and then you know, less chance of rounding anything off. Now, in the case of you did round them off, you'd have to take this adjuster out and replace the adjuster. It's, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it would be a bit of a pain if you did. But so that's what you have to do. You have to use a full socket on there and that special spring compressor tool to be able to do that. So that's just in these seem all to be loosening up nicely. So I'm going to carry on. Let me get you in a little closer and show you the adjuster, and then I'm going to carry on and finish these off. So there's the adjuster pin with the rocker arm off, and you can see the large nut where that goes into the head, and this adjuster pin threads in to this, and so this goes up and down essentially, and that's the ball I was talking about to dissipate oil from, so you get a, you know, an accurate reading. Before I put this back in, I just want to see that little shoe there. See, it's rotating slightly. That just sits in a little cup on top of the spring. Be extra careful that you don't dislodge this guy and drop it into the engine, and God forbid down at the front near the chain, etc. So just be mindful when you go to put the rocker back in there, it engages with that correctly. So just wanted to make note of that. Alright, so when you go to put these clips back in, you've got to make sure, see this lower section here, it has to engage in a slot around the adjuster pin. It's very difficult to see. It's just above the the adjuster nut. There's like a channeled out. Now if you don't get it right, you can kind of wiggle it around. You can feel that it's engaged in the channel. Now you'll click these in, and they're just below the body of the rocker there, right? But if this plate is underneath that, it means it's missed it. So just be confirmed that these all look that they've engaged that little you know, turned out section of the pin. You'll see it. It's just above the adjuster there. So just be mindful of that when you're reinstalling the pins. Just take your time. I mean, you'll get it. It's a little fiddly, but you'll get a technique down, you know. Once you've worked around, I actually worked on these four, saved me jumping back and forth, so I adjusted the valves all on this side, went over, did that side, and when I aligned the two cams, the distributor and the harmonic balancer, as I say, I was reading around just over 5 degrees, which even though the chain does at first inspection appear to be good, I'm going to change it out as soon as I get a chance after the holidays, and also replace these cam gears as well, do it all at the same time, and we'll be able to inspect the chain tensioner as well. I have to remove that, but that's not for this video. So once you've worked all your way round, then you can start the reassembly. As you can see, I've removed the oiler tube on this side. I started another video while videoing this on the oiler tube replacement for the clips, and that's going to come after this video. I was going to do it all in once, but I think it was going to end up being too long. So this is just a valve adjustment. It's been a day or so filming this, and in the meantime, let's see, this came from the Classic Center, a new timing chain that I'll put aside ready to fit. This is, just for your reference, A0009977694. They are available. Unfortunately, talking to Eddie down at the Classic Center, these gears are no longer available from the Classic Center, so I've got a little hunting to do. If you can help me, that would be awesome. I believe Phoebe Bilstein make those, and give me some feedback on that. And as I say, I'm not touching the guides themselves because they're metal ones. So that is that. Well, that's about it for this video. New valve cover gaskets. I've got to clean those valve covers. Got a little bit grimy. Clean those up. Next video I'll be showing you refitting the oiler tubes, replacing those little clips that hold in the oiler tubes, and cleaning the tube out, making sure that's all in good shape. And then, as I say, the probably first part of the new year, January, because I'm going to need some help winding the engine on to feed in the new chain and fit the cam gears. Please let me know if the availability of those front cam gears on the M117. I thought these looked okay. but it's a little difficult to tell. He might have had a little bit more wear than I first realised on first inspection. So just got to replace some more and be done with it, and then bring back everything back into alignment, because as I say, this is a car I use all the time and I want to keep it on the road. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, ta-da.